Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to episode 22 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean. So, lately, with this later part of the season, or the batch, or whatever you want to call it, the batch of episodes, we have been, unfortunately, treated to some weaker episodes. Some things that were just, like, a little too bizarre, even for JoJo. Stuff that just wasn't working. Not to mention, I'm still gonna be salty about Anasui stealing FF's kill, and then FF not even getting to have a victory after the fact, before her death, or their death, rather. I'm still gonna be salty about that. But then it's like, it's just throwing even weirder stuff on us, and it's like, I get that it shows us Bizarre Adventure, I get that there's gonna be weird shit, but it's like, the stuff they're throwing at us is just like, a little too weird, maybe? Like, maybe just a little much. Like, the green baby, or whatever, it's like part plant, part Dio, I guess? And its stand ability makes it almost practically invincible. And then there was the thing that was before, that Jolene and Anasui were facing before it as well. And it's just like, what the actual fuck? What is even going on here? I don't know. It's just like, again, pretty much up until the end of the fight with Kenzo, I think his name was, the dragon dude. Everything in this part was going good. Maybe not quite still to the level of the first batch of episodes, but everything in this batch was going well up until then. Basically, once FF's kill was stolen, everything started going downhill. And I'm telling you, it's not just because their kill was stolen. I'm not just trying to make everything look bad because of that. The rest of the stuff is just like, it's not working, in my opinion. It's not well handled and well written enough to get beyond the overly bizarre nature of it. And it's like, I know Araki can write better than this. I know Araki can come up with better stand ideas than this. But it's like, he made us anticipate a character who was pointless. Like D&G, we saw him, like, before the fight with Kenzo, just walk off to the side while Kenzo took on this fight. It's like, oh yeah, that's going to raise our expectations. And he ends up being pointless. He's a waste of time, he's annoying. His stand is even more annoying and a waste of time and just really unenjoyable in every way. And it's just like, I get maybe you were trying to go for a subversion there to make everyone think he's going to be a big deal, and then he just ends up not being one. But you still, if you're going to do something like that, you still have to write it in a way that makes sense. And you have to make it still feel worth it in the end. This didn't. It felt like a waste of time. I've just been really disappointed with the latter part of this batch of episodes. And hopefully the next batch is better once it airs in December. And I'll just put it out now. that, one, I will probably still be getting to the next batch as quickly as possible, but it might not be right away. It's just whenever I get an open spot that I can utilize for it. And second, I will be finishing off this batch next week with the final 2 episodes. That much I'm guaranteeing you. Next week we'll finish off this batch. And again, when the first batch, or when the last batch comes, I'll get to it as soon as I can, but that might not be right away. I don't know at the moment. Because November is also introducing the final season, I think. I think it's the final season of Dragon Prince. So there's that to worry about too. Plus just all the other stuff we're already reacting to. I'll figure it out, of course. Whatever I have to do for it. But we'll handle that in the future, obviously. But yeah, I really do hope that the final batch is like really strong, because this batch, again, started off really good, but the way it's ending has been really weak. And unless it changes like here or whatnot, then it's going to be a very disappointing close to this batch of episodes. And just I just personally don't like it, okay? Specifically the final episodes of this batch. And it will affect my overall view on part 6 as a whole, because as a whole, I have to judge it as a whole. I have to judge it for everything that it has, including the weak parts. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it gets back to normal JoJo weirdness soon. That's just my hope, at least. Like, within this episode would be preferable. Either way, we're just going to get into this episode and, well, find out, I guess. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts. It will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Well, this episode was markedly better than previous ones. Like, very much markedly better. In fact, this was kind of back on track, which is what I said I wanted, so I'm happy with that. It's completely selfish of me. It's completely just based on my personal tastes and all, but I kind of wish Anasui hadn't been helped by FF in the end. But there's actually 2 reasons. One is the selfish reason. I hate Anasui. I think he's a piece of shit. This episode proved it. He's scum. He's not a good person at all. It's like I said during the reaction, I'm sure there's some people who like him, but I, for the life of me, can't understand why. He's so unlikable. But the second one is more of the actual reason why I think he should have died. I feel like I know one of FF's things has been to be able to quote unquote heal people, but I think that it would have been more impactful for Poochie's attack and plan working here if, he had actually succeeded in taking out a good portion of this team. Half of the team that was there, at least. both FF and Anasui. That would have been more impactful and would have had more of a more of a shock to it. Not just for shock, but it would have made sense given the current situation of things. Because let's be completely honest here. Anasui isn't really doing much that only he can do. Like, he stole FF's win, and then he's just kind of been there otherwise. Nothing he's done is something that no one else could do. And honestly, with as unlikable and just outright terrible he is, he almost comes across as a character who's not meant to survive in the end, I guess you could say. He just doesn't feel like as major a character as others. So having him survive just feels forced in a way, I guess you could say. It feels like it's just trying to make something with him happen. And maybe Araki will do something with him in the final batch of episodes. Well, within that context of the manga, of course. But maybe something he'll actually be useful there, and not just be a complete tool. But it's hard to say, and I don't really have a lot of faith in that. But yeah, it's just, I feel like it was the only issue I had with this episode. Poochie winning here, not only just the fight, but the situation as a whole, I'm fine with. Because you have to have your villains win every once in a while. You have to. Like, they'll lose the final fight, sure, but you have to have them win every once in a while in order to, you know, set them up and properly make them feel threatening. Which, again, is part of the reason why I dislike that Anasui survives. I feel it would have been more impactful for Poochie as a villain if Anasui also died. Having FF be the only casualty is kind of weak, in my opinion. But yeah. Either way, I'm definitely disappointed by that, but Poochie's victory is going to be interesting because it looked like the green baby ate him, or at least was starting to. So I don't know what's going on here. I don't know where this is going to lead, but I'm definitely curious. Because this is definitely going to change the overall feeling of this, I guess you could say. And FF being gone, it's like, yeah, obviously it's very sad. We liked them. But as I said before, in the more recent episodes, and I guess the equivalent manga chapters, Araki did nothing good with them. Like, first, they get their kill stolen by Anasui. Then they don't even get to, you know, have a proper victory against Poochie. Then when escaping, they end up bringing Poochie to everyone. It's like FF is just kind of made to look pretty bad here. They just... I don't want to just say they're not being utilized properly, because that sounds almost elitist to say. But it's like, they're really not. It's not. I'm not saying that Araki doesn't know how to write this character specifically. I'm just saying that Araki didn't write the character well. Because he just made them look weak in this second batch. In the first batch, they were written fine. In fact, they were written great. But in this one, it's like you would not necessarily realize that FF is one of the main trio, along with Hermes and Jolene. Like you would get that feeling from Hermes, based on her contribution in this part with taking out Sports Max for her sister Gloria. Like you would definitely understand that she's part of the main trio in that regard. But then you see FF in this batch of episodes, and it's like you would think FF was like more of a minor side character almost, like or not a minor side character, still a major side character, but still a side character rather than one of the main characters. You think she would be more like equivalent to the Zeppelis, and referring to both Baron Zeppeli in part 1 and Caesar Zeppeli in part 2. Like, you know, major side characters who are meant to die. Like, that's their character's purpose, in a way. That's more of what FF kind of felt like within the context of this batch of episodes. In the first batch, they felt more like a main character, not a side character. But it's just, they kind of were taken in a very bad direction in this batch of episodes. And they ended up coming across more like Fugo than someone like Narancia. You know what I'm saying? Fugo, who, though being part of the main group, was very, like, minor compared to the rest of them. And, you know, never really got a chance to shine. And got his kill stolen. I'm not going to get over that. Both with Fugo or with FF. It's just, it's disappointing because FF had so much great potential as a character, and it was just kind of wasted. And now FF is dead for the second time. I don't know why we needed a fake out death and then like have FF like make a surprise return and then have a real death with the spirit ascending to heaven and everything. But it's like, okay, what was the point? I don't understand. Why did we need to do that just to make FF look bad again? By having them bring Poochie to the rest of the crew. Like, that is literally all FF did in this part. Like, even Jolene finding out about Poochie, like, really didn't matter when all that they did was, you know, bring the villain straight to them. It's like that's the only thing FF did. Oh. I'm just so unbelievably disappointed in that. But the episode in general and the content within, specifically the episode outside of FF's part and Anasui surviving, the fight and everything was really good. The intensity was really good. And it felt more like JoJo than the previous episodes have. Felt like it was getting back on track. So we still have 2 more episodes to go to finish out the season. Or the season. I keep wanting to say the season because that's how this release order is being handled. To finish out this batch of episodes. Hopefully these are more of the good stuff, and I don't know how this is going to end in only 2 more episodes. Because this kind of felt like this would have been the end right here. What else are we going to cover? I genuinely don't know. I guess maybe we'll find out. Well, I guess we'll have to find out. But yeah, we will do those 2 episodes together next time and close out this batch of episodes. Then we'll move on to something else. And like I said, when the new batch comes out, I will get to it right away, or not right away, but as soon after it comes out as I can. I'm just gonna have to find a new spot for it and figure out. It might not be on the same day, and everything probably won't. We'll see. We'll see how to best handle it at that time. In the meantime, though, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stone Ocean? And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.